Hey there everybody, Andrew King here, Editor-in-Chief of Canadian Musician. This is the new edition of Ask Andrew. Remember, me answering your music industry questions. Feel free to submit them via social media. We are at CDN Musician on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/CDN Musician. Tag us on any platform, use the hashtag AskAndrew, and we will add it to the queue. You can also hit us at askandrew@nor.com. Thanks everyone for tuning into the first few. Two questions today that come from the same artist. And for this one, I outsourced the help a little bit. Remember, I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but we know where to find them. So we'll take this one in two parts. So the first is, the person asking the question is a songwriter who's written a tune and has hired a number of musicians to come into the studio and record said song. She's wondering if there is a work for hire form, basically where services are rendered on spec for Canadian musicians, similar to what she's experienced in the United States. So for this one, we reached out to Alan Willert, who is the VP of the Canadian operations for the American Federation of Musicians, AFM and CFM. That is the musicians union that are advocating for musicians and performers' rights when dealing with other aspects of the music industry. I encourage you to check out what they do, and if you are a performing musician, definitely consider becoming a member. So Alan says that actually the term work for hire doesn't really exist in Canadian law. However, if a Canadian artist does sign a document like the American one that the artist was referring to in her question, that it actually can be legally binding. Now, so what he suggests is negotiating a deal whereby the songwriting credits, where you're not giving away any of your SOCAN fees for the writing portion of the song, but you are paying the studio musician a one-time fee and also ensuring that they get to keep their performance rights, which means that for playing on the track, if said track gets exploited or used to where there's financial gain, as a performer, they would be entitled to a fair share of that profit. That's collected by Resound and paid out by either MROC, RACS, or in Quebec, Artisty. Thereby the writer, the person submitting the question, would be able to get the one-time fee out, and then the only portion of the finished track for which the performer could stand to benefit is their performer's right, which is certainly a fair dealing. There are a few different ways that you can negotiate that, but that's one that would fit in with the work for hire idea, but still make sure that the performer is getting what they're entitled to. Now, the other part of this question was that let's say one of those studio musicians, in this case it was the example of a vocalist, maybe tweak some lyrics or add some oohs and ahs to the melody. Are they entitled to claim some of the songwriting credit? So for this one, we reached out to our friend Byron Pascoe, Edwards PC Creative Law. He's based in Ottawa, a very, very good champion of musicians and knowledgeable music industry fellow. There's a great blog at their website too with plenty of free info. So what he advises is that before even going into this session, you will want to make sure that everyone performing has signed some type of deal. In this case, we're dealing with something called a split sheet, which is an official document that says who involved in a recording gets what percentage of the songwriting royalty share that the track may generate in the future, as well as like the actual credit, as in song written by person A, B, and C. So in this case, you would want to negotiate beforehand that for this upfront fee, that the individual is waiving the rights, basically saying I have 0 percentage in having written this song, music or lyrics, etc. Now, there's always the chance that, signing that definitely protects you, but there's always the chance that someone may feel, and in some cases rightfully so, that they've added something to the song that is of enough value that they should be entitled to some credit. But having this figured out beforehand and ensuring that you're saying, we're paying you X amount of dollars to perform on the song, let the performer maintain their performance rights as per Alan at the AFM suggestion, but then make it clear that they are waiving any part of saying I had no part in writing this song, I'm just performing the arrangement as given to me. If they wander from that arrangement a bit, that's part of the deal. It's underneath what they would have signed there, and you should be safe going forward. So, big thanks to Alan, big thanks to Byron, and big thanks to the artist for submitting such a great question. I hope that helps make things clean and fair going forward in what I hope is a very prosperous career, this song in particular. That's it for Ask Andrew. CanadianMusician.com/AskAndrew for more information. And remember, we're live every Monday on IGTV at CDN Musician on Instagram.